As you can tell, we're going a reaction series. Okay, and now I have been watching this channel for a long time, as you can tell. Hit that bell for them. I subscribe to them, and I think they're actually really cool, but also they're really weird. So I am going to be reacting to some of these today. Okay, let's go find some. I'm going to find some short ones, cause, yeah. Okay, I said something to my sister that muted her forever.
Hi, I'm Erica, and for a long
Erica.
time, I was an only child. Some people hate being only children, but I loved it. I got all the presents on Christmas. I never had an
Alright, let me just say something. This girl is a spoiled little brat.
annoying sibling to deal with. My parents spoiled me rotten. And
Like you guessed it.
then Brienne came along. I was 11 when she was born. Right
Okay.
away, I couldn't stand her. My parents paid so much attention to her. She cried all the time. It was
Look how the baby just cries.
so annoying. If I complained I couldn't sleep because of the noise, my mom was just like, she's a baby. That's what babies do. Well then, babies were the worst. To make matters harder, my parents thought Brienne was perfect. They were always talking about how beautiful she was, how smart. If you call crying and drooling smart, I guess. They went nuts the first time she smiled, and when she started goo-goo gaga-ing, they took like 8,000
I'm just gonna
videos.
say this girl's a brat.
Meanwhile, everything I did was wrong. Erica, don't run in the house. You'll wake the baby. Erica, don't talk so loud. Don't stand so close to the crib. Go play outside. If they didn't want me anymore, why not just dump me at an orphanage and be done with it? Then they could spend all their time with their precious Brienne. It got to the
I'm
point.
gonna say stop the video again. But this is what means, because like the attention can't be all on her, because like obviously she's not an only child now, and they've got to look after a newborn baby. Right, let's turn
Point
it
where
off.
just the sight of my baby sister made me furious. Even my teachers asked me about Brienne. I couldn't get a break from people talking about her. At Brienne's first Christmas, she got dozens of presents. What did I get? Socks. Whenever I wanted to talk to my mom after school, she was always fussing over Brienne. I seriously had fantasies about taking Brienne into the woods and leaving her there. But then
This girl is evil.
something happened. Brienne was over 2, and she still wasn't talking. My parents started freaking out that something was wrong with her. They talked to the pediatrician. He did some tests that determined
She's a
Brienne
baby.
could understand words, she just didn't speak. The doctor said some kids start talking late and not to worry about it. But my parents were definitely worried. And as much as I hated that now they were paying even more attention to Brienne, I loved that Brienne wasn't so perfect anymore. One day I was watching her while my parents were downstairs. She started babbling. Shh, I told her without thinking. She looked at me with wide eyes. Don't do that, I told her. Don't make that noise or your head will fall off. I mimed her head popping off. At first, I wasn't sure she understood, but the next time I caught her babbling, I said the same thing, and this time she started crying. It happened a few more times, and each time I'd tell Brienne a horrible story about what would
She's
happen
just
if she
evil, that
talked.
kid.
I told her I had special powers that let me do it, but that she'd be in big trouble if she tried. I knew it was horrible of me, but I was just so sick of
This
her
girl
getting
even
all
knows
the
what being a
attention.
brat.
The stories got worse. I told her mom and dad wouldn't love her anymore if she talked. I told her they would give her back to the hospital. One day, Brienne said what sounded like dada, and without thinking, I slapped her. I didn't hit her that hard, but I was still shocked at myself. Then she started wailing. I went to my room, heart pounding,
Oh my
thinking if
God.
she were ever going to start talking, this would be the time, so she could tell on me. But she didn't. Before I knew it, Brienne was turning 3, and she still hadn't said a word. Now my parents were really freaking out. They took her to a bunch of specialists and were trying all kinds of weird homeopathic crystal alignment stuff to try to get Brienne.
First of all, why would you do this? She obviously, like, she's probably just shy. Well, obviously, we know the reason why she's not, but, like, aren't they thinking that she could be shy? You know?
To talk. The thing was, I was freaking out too. Over the past year, I'd gotten over a lot of my resentment toward Brienne. I was in high school now and had plenty to keep me busy. What did I care if my parents were obsessed with the baby? I even sort of liked Brienne now. She didn't cry as much, and she was really cute. But she wasn't talking, and it was all my fault. I filled her head with all those horrible stories, and I'd traumatized her for life. My parents delayed Brienne's preschool enrollment. They looked like they never slept. They were always on the internet looking for solutions, for new doctors to try. The guilt began to eat away at me. I needed to fix this. "Brienne," I said one day when we were alone. "Brienne, it's okay to talk. I was just being silly when I said your head would fall off. Can you say Mama? Dada?" Brienne just stared at me. "Brienne, please talk. Just say one word. If you don't
The one, I don't think that's going to make her work, is it?
start talking, they're going to take you to more doctors. That's not good, right? You don't like doctors." Nothing. "Brienne, your head won't fall off," I insisted a little louder. Brienne started to cry. After that, I researched how to encourage kids to talk. I practiced with Brienne whenever I could. I showed her pictures and magazines and repeated the words over and over. But nothing came of it. I was so scared now that I had trouble sleeping. Mom and Dad had just taken Brienne to another specialist, and they wouldn't even tell me what the woman had said. "What's going to happen if Brienne doesn't start talking?" I asked Mom. To my shock, she started crying. She couldn't even answer the question. I realized I was the worst person in the world. I'd hurt Brienne and my parents. I was a terrible daughter. No wonder they'd liked Brienne better than me. I went upstairs shaking with anger and fear. I found Brienne and showed her a magazine picture of a cat. "Cat," I said. "Say cat." Over and over I pointed at the cat and repeated the word, but Brienne just stared at me. Then she smiled a little and clapped her hands, and I lost it. "Just say cat," I screamed at her. "How hard is it? Just say one stupid word, Brienne. What are you, an idiot?" I kept screaming at her to talk until I heard footsteps pounding up the stairs. My mom burst into the room and found Brienne crying and me shouting at her. Mom pulled me away. "Erica, what has gotten into you?" "She won't talk," I said, tears streaming down my face. "Erica, she won't talk," I interrupted, "and it's all my fault." "What do you mean?" Mom asked. So I told the whole story, all the awful things I'd said to Brienne over the past year. "I don't know why I did it," I sobbed. "You just thought she was so perfect, and at first I thought it was funny, but now she won't talk, even though I tried to tell her the truth." Mom took me aside and calmed me down. "Erica, Brienne's last specialist diagnosed her with a developmental disability. It's not your fault she can't talk." I tried to breathe slowly and listen to what she was saying, but my heart was still racing. It's not? No, it was very wrong of you to say those things to your sister, but that's not the reason. I wasn't the reason? I will never forget the feeling of relief her words
I knew it was going to be smell like this.
made me feel. I was haunted by guilt for a very long time. I always thought it was me, but I was still worried. What's going to happen? Will she ever talk? They're hopeful that with some therapy she'll talk someday. We don't know much yet. "I'll try to help," I offered tentatively. "Like if there are exercises we need to do with her or something. I don't know if she'll ever trust me, but..." "That might be good for both of you," Mom said, "if you can promise me that you'll be kind to her." I said I promise, and I hugged my mom tight. And I've done my best to keep my word. Brienne and I might never be best friends, but I'm trying to be a better big sister to her now. I just hope she knows I love her, whether she ever talks or not. What did you think of my story? Please
Wait, that was actually quite stupid. Like, good, it was good, but like, it seemed realistic. Like this, I pretended to be 19. I saw things I shouldn't. Like what? I woke up in the woods with no clothes on and alone. You know, they're probably not even true. They're probably kids just writing. But this story, she actually sounds true, to be honest. So yeah, I would give my story animated like and subscribe. So I think you should too. Yeah, all I want to say is if you want to do part 2 on this, I will. I actually think I should do another video. Okay. I'll do a really short one. Okay,
I don't know why.
Expedia helps you book every detail for every traveler.
I build my
Hey people,
friend's secret
my
and
name's Joshua.
everyone bursts into laughter.
My best friend, Bill, passed away last year due to a rare disease.
Aw.
We were all really depressed, but it was expected since we saw his health deteriorate each passing month. He was my best friend. I was really sad, but I kept on laughing at his funeral and people didn't know why. Everyone just glared at me with weird eyes. You guys must be wondering the same thing. Well, let me explain. So at the funeral, I was given a letter by Bill's brother. It was his last message that he wanted the world to know through me. As soon as I started reading the letter,
I think this guy's already a horrible person. Like, why would you laugh at your friend's funeral? Like, this is supposed to be a celebration of life, not like. So, yeah.
I burst into laughter. People were staring at me, and I was aware of it, but I couldn't hold it in. So the letter said, "Hey Josh, it's going to be a long time no see, brother. You know I was a call person, and writing long messages was never my cup of tea, but well, can't call, can I?" Guys, this was the moment that I started laughing, like an idiot, because it's true. He found writing stuff very irritating. The letter further said, "Remember the time when Mr. Williams lost our exam papers last semester? Well, the truth is, I stole them." Well, before moving forward, let me quickly tell you about what happened. Mr. Williams is our computer programming professor. He is one of the most feared professors of our university. We had our final exam paper, which somehow got lost. Mr. Williams had no clue where the papers went missing. Quite frankly, all of us were left dumbfounded because none of us had ever heard of anything like this. Mr. Williams had to do something, so we were all given marks according to our semester performance, and the entire class was quite pleased with it because the exam was scary as hell. One thing you guys should know is that Mr. Williams has a strange addiction to energy drinks. Okay, back to the letter. My exam went really bad, and I remember Mr. Williams telling us that no matter what happened, if any of you did poor in your paper, nothing's going to stop me from giving you guys an F grade and ruining your futures. Since I didn't do well on my test, I knew doom was inevitable. But you know, brother, desperate times, desperate measures. I was aware of the fact that Mr. Williams is lactose intolerant. So the next day, I secretly slipped in some milk powder in his energy drink early in the morning. Being lactose intolerant myself, I knew he was going to get hit with the nature's call within 30 minutes. I constantly kept peeking in his office, and I've got to tell you, his expression was hilarious. I laughed so hard that my stomach started hurting. He fought well, but then
I feel bad for the kid. He's dead. He's writing a letter. You just feel bad, didn't you?
the control went beyond his control, and he had to rush to the restroom. As soon as he left his office, I went in, stole the papers, and fled within seconds. Genius, right? You guys can thank me now, since I'm the
Sorry, this is kind of real, but then not, because why would you do that to a teacher, first of all? It's kind of like stupid.
mysterious savior.
Like, you could get
As for the papers,
excluded.
they're kept safely under my bed. Go ahead, Mr. Williams. You can now ruin my future, but guess what? The joke's on you, because I don't have one. Lol. I also switched my answer sheet, so better luck finding the original one. When I cheat, I make sure I do it perfectly. The letter ended with him saying, "I don't have any grudge against Mr. Williams. I hope he's present at my funeral. I wanted to tell him that I love him, and I've always been the naughty one. So this was my final attempt at teasing him. Enjoy your lives, everyone. Life is short. Make the most of it. This is my final goodbye to you all. Take care. Love, Billy Brooks." I kept looking at the letter, thinking that this amazing guy is no longer with us. The tears started rolling down my cheeks. Later, everyone found out the reason I was laughing. Everyone laughed along, including Mr. Williams. He was present there, smiling with tears in his eyes. Upon his request, we found the papers and gave them to him the next day. He checked Bill's paper and gave him an A. What do you think of the story? Please share.
Right. That's actually quite sad, actually. I feel bad for the kid. So that's going to be the last episode. Last video for today. And definitely check this channel out if you've not seen it already. My Story Animated. So, yeah. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the next episode. If you want another one. So, bye. Please like and subscribe. So that I know that you like this thing.